Hello, everybody, and just 5 minutes with John and Mark. I haven't got a blurred background, but Mark, you have got a background today.
I have. I'm really proud to have set this up. My technical achievements are mirrored by none. I'm an incredible technical genius to do this, but there you go.
Indeed. And we're looking now today at one of my favourite subjects, and we're looking at conscious leadership, which for me actually goes through the heart of our pyramid, which is a fundamental principle to how we deliver training and the ethos of Goodfoot. So conscious leadership is obviously leadership, but it's something that goes through each level, being specifically focused around well-being and execs. So we're going to look at that in a second with me and Mark. But I just had one thing to say, Mark. It'd be interesting to get your thoughts on this. So as you know, I was just looking what conscious leadership means, and it's the definition that came up was this guy Jim Denther around conscious leadership, and apparently all conscious leadership training has evolved from him. Anyway, but he lists these 15 commitments that a conscious leader has. When I hear the word conscious leader, I think somebody who's connected to themselves, connected to others, somebody who is aware. They're using mindfulness effectively, or mindfulness skills in a leadership capacity to influence people. So I just wanted your thoughts around that, Mark. You agree?
Yeah, I think great. We've said this before, John. Great leaders in our organisations have always been conscious. You know, it's a modern word, but it basically means aware of many factors, right? Where they're aware of stuff that some other leaders are not aware of. So, for example, a disgruntled workforce, if we're aware of the growth in the disgruntled workforce, we can deal with it. If we're not aware of it, because we just don't care, for example, then we suffer the consequences of it. So good leaders have always had this awareness. And I think we can all develop it. I mean, studies show that we can get better at the main job that we've all got. And this is something, John, that I often say when we're running events to senior people all the way down to supervisors. What are we employed to do? We work for organizations that pay our salaries. That's how our economy works. But what are we actually paid to do? And the answer is we're paid to think. And quite often we don't think. We react, we do, we've got process, we crack on with stuff. So my first tip in this arena is to be a conscious leader. The diary needs to show time to think. So if I go into my diary, there should be slots in there that I've allocated to think. Now, I may not call it thinking time. I did have a boss who used to just go on his desk like this and put his head in his arms like this and said, don't talk to me for 50 minutes. He's a bit radical. Back at Boots when I was in the pharmaceutical industry. But I said, what are you doing, Ed? He said, I'm thinking. And I thought, actually, he's pretty smart. He's setting time to think and telling people that he's thinking. So time to think. And if we don't put it in the diary as thinking time, because it's not politically acceptable, we maybe book it as a meeting for ourselves. But having time deliberately to think is for me really critical in becoming conscious of stuff that we do need to address.
Yeah, I would agree fundamentally. As you know, my schedule's quite packed, particularly at the moment. So I have to be quite religious about getting in those rest periods, those recovery periods. And even if I think, look, I'm getting an overload of tasks, I need to sit down at my desk and do stuff. I have those slots where I say, no, that's earmarked for recovery. It's to go out and have a walk or do whatever it is that you need to do, because I know that I'm not going to be able to manage my energy, but also, like you said, remain conscious and focused on the tasks that are important, unless I've been pragmatic and put those things into my diary. My tip's not around that. I just thought it was a great one from you, Mark. My tip would be around looking for win-win situations. So for me, the conscious leader is somebody who, yes, is aware of themselves and their environment, making the time to stay connected, but they're also looking to connect with what people need. What do their staff need? What do they need? What does the organisation need? And are they driving the results that are meeting everyone's needs? Because ultimately, if someone's needs are not going to be met, you're not going to be as successful. So that would be my tip.
Yeah, that's a good one, John. And it gets closer to my final tip on this, is that I meet an awful lot of people who have really good gut feels, but not quite the confidence to follow them, because the culture is it doesn't work like that. You just got to keep quiet. And I would say the good conscious leader, in my experience, having learned it later in my life to be more conscious about what's going on, focuses on their gut feel and analyzes, well, why am I getting this sense, this feeling? And it is a feeling, because the brain is taking in the data, and because it's subconscious, it's translating into feelings and sensations rather than logical tactics. We get a sense of something, and to follow that rather than ignore it, I would encourage all of us to do, because underneath there are probably things worth thinking about that are giving us this gut feel. So time just to quietly consider, what's my gut feel at the moment and why, is really, really profitable, and that makes us more conscious, because we're listening to those subconscious signals rather than just ignoring them. That would be wonderful.
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly, Mark. I'm very passionate about working with leaders and focusing on these types of skills, and I'm passionate about conscious leadership and mindfulness, because I believe that the ability to connect with ourselves and others is fundamental to success personally and and in business. Look, everybody, it's been an absolute pleasure to be with you. It's even more of a pleasure to be with you, Mark. That's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Indeed. Bye.
Bye-bye.